All right, beautiful people. We're going to finish up our triangle congruence statements with angle side angle and angle angle side. So our essential question is, how do we use angle side angle and angle angle side triangle congruence? The first thing I want to do is I want to recap all the congruences, and then I'm going to add the two that we're going to talk about today. So we're going to create a table that's got 5 rows. 5 rows. Nope, 5 columns. Okay, so I've started with my 5 columns. So I've got all 5 of the congruence theorems. These are congruence theorems. Okay, and again, we use congruence theorems because it's a pain to make sure that every single side and every single angle are congruent. So these are shortcuts to determine if 2 triangles are congruent without having to prove that every single side and every single angle are congruent. Okay, so let's start with our drawings. So side angle side has the angle that is included, or the included angle. Okay, included angle. Okay, this means that the angle has to be between the 2 sides. Okay, side, side, side has all 3 sides, obviously. If you don't have any angles, don't fret. You can still use side, side, side. Okay, all 3 sides. Hypotenuse leg requires a right triangle. If you do not have a right triangle, then you cannot use hypotenuse leg. And the right triangle has to be identified. It can't just look like a right triangle. It has to actually say, hey, I'm a right triangle. Whether that's in words or if the diagram has that 90-degree angle marker at the side. Okay, a leg and the hypotenuse. It does not have to be the long leg. It can be the short leg as long as it's a leg and the hypotenuse. All right, and then angle side angle is pretty much the opposite of side angle side, where you've got 2 angles and the side in between them. 2 angles and the side in between them. So this is the included side. Remember, the side has to be between the 2 angles. It cannot be outside the 2 angles. This one's new today. And angle angle side is also new today. And so again, when you do this one, you got an angle, and this time the side is not included. An angle, and the side that's not included. Okay. Non-included side. Okay. All right, so those are the congruence theorems that you can use to prove that 2 triangles are congruent. We are going to focus on these 2 today because they're the new theorems that we're going to state, and then we're going to do some identification. All right, I'm going to start by writing the theorems. I'm going to start with angle side angle. Okay, angle side angle says, if 2 angles and the included side of one triangle are congruent to 2 angles and the included side of a second triangle, then the triangles are congruent. Okay, so again, importance on this one is that we have the included side. Okay. So it is in between. Included. It is in between the other 2 angles. It has to be in between those 2 angles. If it's outside the 2 angles, then you don't have angle side angle, because the side has to be sandwiched between those 2 angles. There can't be any gaps. It has to be directly in between. Something that I want to note up here on the top is that these ones don't work. Not statements. Remember I said AAA doesn't work and SSA do not work. These are the ones that I said the other day. These are not congruent statements. Sorry, I should have said that earlier, but all right, so angle side angle congruence. You got the side in between. All right, I'm going to do the second theorem and then we're going to do some identification.